Listen, I lost thousands of dollars dropshipping at 18 because of these 5 mistakes. I spent an entire year learning, and I'm going to open your eyes to things that gurus don't talk about. I'm not going to give you useless advice that you guys already know doesn't work, like changing your add to cart color or changing a couple of pictures on your website. I'm sharing with you the biggest things that changed everything for me and cost me thousands. Mistakes that no guru warned me about. And it's not because dropshipping doesn't work, but it's because the internet gatekeeps so much stuff that really matters. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 5 biggest mistakes that slowed me down the most so you don't burn money on dumb stuff like I did. Now, I'm not saying in hindsight like, oh, I should have known better. I genuinely thought I was doing everything right. I was copying tutorials and copying what other big YouTubers were doing because I genuinely thought I was one product away from a crazy breakthrough and making stupid amounts of money. But behind all the hype, I kept hitting walls, and these 5 things were the reason why. Now, starting with the first one, I didn't understand the basic fundamentals of marketing. Alright, so now that we're on my laptop, I want to go over the 5 stages of awareness. This was something that me and Ari, my business partner, implemented just a couple months ago, and it really changed the entire way we marketed everything, basically. It's very important, brings everything together, so I'm going to go over the 5 different stages of awareness. Basically, the stage that your customer is in when you're trying to market to them. The unaware customer, they aren't aware of their desire or their need to solve the problem, or they won't honestly admit it. That is a very hard awareness stage to market towards. I'll go over in a little bit why, but problem aware is the next stage. This is one you're going to catch a lot of your customers in. That's usually where you start marketing, between problem and solution aware. So problem aware is they know they have a problem to solve, but they aren't aware of any specific solutions. And then solution aware, they know there's a solution to their problem, but they don't know of any specific products to solve. So these are the 2 that you're going to catch most of your customers in. Product aware is the next one. You won't catch too many of your customers in this one, but it's when they know your product exists, but they aren't completely aware of everything that it does, or they're not convinced of how well your product works. And then last stage, most aware, they know of your product and what it does, but they haven't gotten around to purchasing it yet. Okay, so now that I went over the 5 stages of awareness, I want to go over the 2 main ones that you're going to find most of your customers are at. Problem and solution aware, like I told you guys, this is where you're mostly going to market your product towards. To start off, basic dropshippers, like a lot of you guys usually just lead with the product. In a problem solution aware ad, you lead with the problem or solution. It's kind of in the name. It depends on where your audience is at. I'm going to explain how to find what stage of awareness your audience is in a little bit, but I want to go over, 1 or 2 things that a lot of basic dropshippers do. So, like I said, usually dropshippers lead with the product, or they start at a certain awareness level and then don't lead them through the rest naturally. So this is why, you start using VSLs and longer form ads to really belief shift your audience. You have to nurture your audience. People aren't usually ready to buy your product or throw money at you. So you need to lead them into a buying decision. And that's what the stages of awareness do. Okay, so here is a perfect example of a problem aware headline. Now, this isn't a video ad, but it still goes for, any type of headline. You can clearly see I battled acne for 16 years. You call out the problem. So people that deal with acne for however many years are instantly called out. They know that they have a problem. And then this headline actually goes deeper and hints at a solution, which I could go deeper into that in a different video, but I don't want to go too far into, building headlines and stuff like that. But it's a good example of a problem-aware headline. It, calls out the problem. Pretty self-explanatory. I didn't find a really good solution-aware example. It's pretty simple, but usually, you call out a solution. I tried this for my acne, and it didn't work. That's super baseline, but calls out a solution. People that are watching it see that and they've tried a solution, so it matches them at their stage of awareness. Going a little down here, so why unaware is not ideal. I want to talk about why the first stage of awareness is not the best. I know a lot of you guys are going to question, well, why not market to an unaware audience that has a broader amount of people? Well, first of all, it's a lot of time. It's a very long form ad taking them through all the stages of awareness very naturally. It's a lot of money. It's very expensive to find an ad that works well. It's a lot of testing. Very strategic as well. You need really good skills to execute this right. Now, if you have an unaware VSL or a long form ad that you can crack and get profitable, then you can really scale that infinitely. It is very, very solid if you crack them, but They're not easy to. You need a lot of skills, but that's why we stick to problem solution aware. I want to also clarify every product and every angle has every stage of awareness, but the majority of people that you're going to be able to scale with in that audience is going to be problem or solution aware. So how do I actually find what stage my customer is at? Very simple. Search up your problem on Reddit. Are they talking about their problem? It means they're problem aware, obviously. Are they talking about things that they've tried? They've tried different solutions and things aren't working for them. They're solution aware. Are they looking for a solution or no general solutions? Like I said, would be solution aware. Just dig through Reddit, a bunch of different headlines based on your problem. See how your customers are talking about their issue. Some people might even not know that there's a problem. In that case, they would be unaware. They would be talking about symptoms and not directly calling out the problem, and that would hint that they're unaware. But like I said, usually problem solution aware. Okay, so now going into the second mistake, not having hook and hold rate set up was absolutely crucial for me. As you can see here, hook rate, 3-second video plays divided by impressions. This is a custom metric that shows you what percentage of people that scroll over your video actually watch the first 3 seconds, which is your hook. Hold rate is the amount of people that are watching your hook and actually watch through your entire video. I'm going to explain how you guys can create this custom metric as well, but these two things are extremely crucial. It's very important that when you get deeper into dropshipping, you understand that you need to analyze your ads right, and having hook and hold rate set up can completely change the outcome of your product test. If you can see that your hook is performing pretty well, but your hold rate is low, and that could basically make or break your product test. I had a lot of situations where my hold rate was super solid and we were getting decent click-through rates, but the hook rate was way too low. Usually I look for 40 to 60% in between there, and if you can get a metric around that range, then you're definitely looking at a pretty solid hook. But it's very important to purely go off data. Don't make emotional decisions. If you see that a hook rate is doing bad, but you think it's good, take your data, try to make improvements, let it run the next day, analyze your hook rate again, and continue testing. So I'm going to go through and show you guys how to actually get this custom column. You want to go to columns, click customize columns, click custom, and then when you scroll down, you should see a create custom metric on the right. So for your hook rate, it's going to be 3-second video plays divided by impressions. Just click create metric and make sure it's checked on so you can actually see it. Hold rate, through plays divided by 3-second video plays, create custom metric. Also, I want to, in the format, click numeric and switch it to percentage. It's just a lot easier to look at. But it's pretty simple, hook and hold rate. You can literally do this within 2 minutes and it can make a huge difference in every single product test. Okay, so going into the third mistake, I used to think that longer ads perform worse because of short attention span, which is actually a huge misconception. I used to get really good metrics and horrible conversion rate and buying intention. And that's because short ads create a lot of curiosity clicks, but the point of VSLs is to take them through all the stages of awareness naturally and bring them to a product aware stage and basically get them ready to buy. So a short ad can't shift the prospect's belief thoroughly. That's the whole point of the 5 stages of awareness. When you create a VSL, which is a video sales letter, basically just a long form ad. I'm not going to go too in depth. That's not the point of this video. If you guys want to see a video about purely VSLs, let me know in the comments and I can make one about that. But a VSL is basically a mini funnel that captures their attention, transforms it into interest, turns that interest and engagement into beliefs, and then turns that belief to acceptance of the product. At that stage, that's where you hit them with the call to action and then turn acceptance of the product into buying intention. So that's why when you run a VSL that performs really well, you're going to get a lot better buying intent. And so if the rest of your funnel is optimized, you can see a lot higher conversion rate, which is why we use VSLs. So this is a very basic structure. It's called the ADA model. It's basically awareness. So their stage of awareness, like I went over, interest, desire, action. Very simple. Like I say at the bottom, short ads create a lot of curiosity clicks. VSLs create clicks that have buying intention, which ultimately increases your conversion rate, which is what you're looking for. So that's a little bit about VSLs. I know it can be very confusing, but it is a very common misconception. Shorter ads do not perform better. If your structure and your VSLs are made correctly, you can have one VSL that scales to 6-7 figures a month and consistently. VSLs don't die out nearly as quick, and so it's definitely something that you need to look into and learn a lot about. It takes time, but once you crack them, you can scale infinitely. Okay, so going on to mistake number 4, basically, you don't want to be overcomplicating your media buying strategy. Very simple. I'm going to show you guys what I use. Very simple. What I use is just a one CBO strategy. I'm going to go over it in a second, but I want to explain why multiple CBOs and campaigns can actually cause problems at low scale. One of my products that I tested a while ago actually performed really well and we were profitable, but we started testing new angles in 2 different campaigns. So we had 2 CBOs running at the same time, 2 different angles. What happened was, anytime we would launch a second CBO, it would cause audience overlapping. Basically, the 2 CBOs both have the same target objective and causes both of them to perform worse. So what happened is we had one CBO performing really well, and then we would launch a new CBO, and then the next day, both of them would completely tank. So we turned one off, let it perform the next day, it stabilized, and we figured, okay, let's try it again. So we tested another CBO, and again, it completely tanked. So we started looking into it, and it can actually cause a lot of audience overlapping. It's basically, like I said, 2 different CBOs with the same target audience and objective at low scale can cause problems. Obviously, later down the line, you're going to need multiple campaigns, and once you're already stabilized and your product's performing well at a higher scale, you can use multiple CBOs and start testing in different countries because you can't run the same CBO into a new country. You're obviously going to need multiple campaigns, but at low scale, Meta is consistently inconsistent, so please try and stick to one CBO. It made a huge difference for us. Now going into what we do, very simple. We have our main one CBO. We have 3 angles, 3 ad sets. This is the original test. Obviously, we create new ad sets down the line, but each ad set has 1 angle. So we have 1 main body video, and then each body has 3 to 5 hooks. So we'll have 3 to 5 ads per ad set. So like I show, 1 CBO, the 3 angles, 3 different ad sets. Each ad set will have 1 body, 3 to 5 hooks. It's very easy with 1 CBO as well to stay organized. You can just go through and remove whatever is not performing. Test new ad sets. You basically just keep the CBO running. If something performs well, doesn't, turn it off, whatever. Create a new ad set with new angles, schedule it for the next day, and run it like you normally do. Just don't use multiple CBOs at a low scale. All right, so the last mistake is making sure you are making data-backed decisions and not emotional decisions. A huge mistake I used to make is being very stressed about the money I'm losing, and I would see it as losing money instead of buying data. So I get very stressed out and make decisions based off my emotions instead of using the data to make high leverage moves, even if it goes against what I want to do. It's very important that you have some form of income while you're dropshipping and testing products because it can be very emotionally taxing to lose money. I've been there firsthand, lost a lot of money testing products over the last year of me dropshipping, so I completely understand it. So this is why I like to set a pretty strict stop loss at about $150. That's the number that I set for myself. I'm okay with losing that per product test. Just helps my emotions overall. And obviously, if a product is performing relatively well, I'll push that stop loss and try to make it work. But it's very important that you set a number that you're okay with losing so you don't make emotional decisions. You need to make data-backed decisions to make this work. Push your emotions to the side and do what the highest leverage move is, even if it goes against your emotions, like I said earlier. That's why it's very important that, like I said, you have some income source, just so you're not super stressed out while you're losing money dropshipping. But that wraps up the 5th mistake. Just remember, you're not losing money, you're buying data. So yeah, with that being said, those were the 5 mistakes that cost me a lot of money at 18. I'm not some guru pretending that I've got it all figured out. I'm just showing you the stuff that I wish someone told me before I burned through all that money. Because honestly, a lot of the advice online just hides this side of the game. So if this video helped you and you're figuring out dropshipping and you want to skip some of the BS, I have a free Discord where I help and teach people in real time. Wins, losses, testing methods, VSLs, all of it. It's not one of those fake guru flexing groups. It's real people trying to build something together. The link is in the description. Pull up if you're serious. I'll see you guys inside.